Fernando, thanks very much for joining me again. I'd like to shift focus now, if I can, onto the Carlota exploration target. I understand you've already undertaken some work here with rock sampling, geological mapping and soil geochemistry, amongst others. What have these programs revealed to you about the geology at Carlota?
So as I mentioned previously, Alex, initially caught my attention about Carlota was the historical reports of some banded iron formations that would carry in interesting grades of gold. So we then staked the property, and as soon as the exploration permit was granted, we started scouting the area, essentially doing the old school boots and hammer. And very quickly, we started to get some very good results returning from grab rock samples up to 48 grams per ton gold, for example. With this data, we decided then to draw a grid, soil grid. Well, then we go systematically along this grid collecting soil samples. And then with all the assays in, we produced the soil map that showed us a beautiful gold in soil anomaly in excess of 1 kilometer. And also a copper anomaly, in part juxtaposed to the gold anomaly. So it led us to the easy interpretation that the underlying rocks can be potentially mineralized in copper and gold. Well, then we started opening some trends to follow up on these results and got some very good results. So I'll highlight two. For example, we had 13 meters grading 4.2 grams per ton gold. And then we had another one of 12 meters grading an average of 3.6 gold and with 0.4% copper. So again, confirming our interest in the target. And the final exploration tool that we used was IP. As I explained before, induced polarization. We are essentially measuring the potential existence of sulfides, and we processed all the IP results. Then it revealed shallow and very near to surface shallow anomaly underlining the IP anomaly underlining the soil. So all this combination of anomalous response on grab samples, anomalous response on soils, anomalous response on trench, and anomalous response on the IP, all together and all juxtaposed in the same area is a very good indication of potential mineralization. But we will only know when we do the drill tests of that.
Okay, so with that preliminary exploration out of the way, how have those programs shaped your understanding and your future plans for Carlota, and what are the next steps?
Actually, we have a very good data set so far. For example, if we did not have the IP survey, we would be throwing holes underneath the soil anomaly with a lower precision. But with the IP anomaly, that just showed the anomaly almost as a rod, very similar to what we see at the west side of the granite in Andrade. So then we can focus our drilling on the rod zone, so our coloring is going to be much more precise.
And just finally, Fernando, before I let you go, can you just elaborate further on the positive early indications that you're seeing at Carlota, and where do you see the upside potential in the short to medium term?
So when we're at this stage of exploration, greenfield exploration, we're looking at all these anomalies. And when we say anomalies, it's because the average crust is barren. So we're looking at something that's different from barren or anomalous to the average barren crust. All these indications together are good, but we also need size, right? If they were good, but in a very restricted and small area, it wouldn't mean much. But we have this anomaly at Carlota in excess of a kilometer-ish or more, right? So it has essentially the same size potential and all the same geochemical, geophysical, and geological features that we see at Andrade. So as the blue sky would be to find a second Andrade, again, subject to further drilling.
Fantastic, Fernando. Thanks for the update and all the best.
Thank you, Aaron.